Wow. And in the same vein, who owns and operates the IRS?
Okay. Now, when I first heard this, I couldn't believe it. I had to reread this about 6 times, so I don't blame your audience for saying this lady is just spinning tales. But a lot of people have a lot of documentation on this.
Yes, they do.
Yes. What happened, there have been a series of bankruptcies. Our Federal Reserve System was put into place in 1913 by stealth. Many of the Congress people went home, and then there was this legislation that passed, and President Wilson signed it into law. And then after that, instead of the Treasury issuing the U.S. currency, what you have is you have the Treasury issuing a promissory note, borrowing money from the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve will then charge interest on this money. So we end up with interest on our country's currencies. You don't have that in another way when you issue the currencies yourself and you have the currencies backed by something of value. Then the money is worth something. And what happened in this situation is we went into bankruptcy as a country in the 30s. And what the Federal Reserve did at that point, I can't believe it, they incorporated all of the states. That means the states are now also companies. And they got the states to agree that whenever a baby is born and is issued a Social Security number, their birth certificate, if you read the birth certificate of your children, it's in all capital letters. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is the Federal Reserve estimates that your baby is going to be earning money and paying taxes in the future. And they say for each person, I think it's a sum of like $600,000 or $700,000 worth that they expect they're going to get. And they take this bond worth $700,000 and they issue it, and they earn interest on the bonds in the capital markets. And so when you pay your taxes, you know how you mail the check separately? The tax forms go one place and the check goes the other place. The Federal Reserve takes your check and they deposit it in the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom takes 40% of your tax payments, and then they mail 60% off to the Vatican's bankers.
Now, wait a minute. You've got to explain that in more detail. Huh?
Absolutely. Our tax money is not staying in our country. Our tax money is going to the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, is owned by these people that have no loyalty to the United States. It's not our government. It's a private bank owned by private people. And if you want to know why it is that the Vatican is taking this money from the United Kingdom, it's because I think it was 1200 or so, there was one of the royalty in the United Kingdom had borrowed a lot of money from the Vatican and owed a lot of money and promised that they would be paying back this money that they owed to the Vatican, and that has stayed in place. So we've got an interconnected problem. The whole world has this interconnected problem. It's like there are all kinds of analogies. But I think the best analogy that people will understand right off the bat is The Wizard of Oz. When, I can't remember his first name, Baum wrote The Wizard of Oz. This was when the United States was considering issuing its own currency, and he wanted to be sure that it was going to be backed by gold. That's the Yellow Brick Road, that's
right.
Supposed to be gold, and the slippers are not supposed to be emerald, they're supposed to be silver.
Right, in the book they're silver.
That's right. And also the Scarecrow, that's the agriculture in the United States. The Tin Man, that's industry. I was trying to figure out who the lion is. Do you remember?
I just heard that recently, but I'm not.
Well, let me tell you who Toto is, pulling the curtains back. Toto is the World Bank whistleblowers. And who's the Wizard of Oz? This little man who's projecting on a screen this terrible entity. That's the Federal Reserve. They don't want